Hello and welcome back to a yoga clip. This particular clip today is about feet. I love my feet and how to keep our feet healthy. A little bit of study of the anatomy of the foot and why basically there should be no shoes. I call them foot prisons. Keeping those toes moving and not crowding into shoes like we've done for hundreds and hundreds of years. Keeping the foot more natural and open and movement, healthier foot. Almost as if, how does the foot work in the sand as you walk? So go barefoot as much as you can. The secondary seal, along with hands, is the foot seal. And again, this is pada. In Sanskrit, the foot is pada. So it becomes a seal of padabandha. And they are the secondary locks in the body. Hastabandha, hand seal. Padabandha, foot seal. And as your practice begins to grow and mature, the hand and foot seal really rise to the forefront of your practice. Not only core, we're always working with core, but the extremities create the energy of hand and foot seal to accomplish core work. And then from there, you have a stronger practice. So here we go with the foot. You have 20 muscles in your feet. You have 26 bones in your feet, 33 joints in the foot, and over 100 tendons, ligaments, and muscle combined. 100. So our foot is again a very complex piece of anatomy in the body, such as the hands. However, we don't walk around on our hands. Most of us. And so we use the foot for power and strength and balance, much more so than our hands. So to keep your foot free and healthy and protected is super important. Parts of the foot are, of course, the toe buds, as we call them, the toe stem, which is the tiny little 2-3 joints here and the length of the toes, the ball of the foot, the arch of the foot, and then of course the powerful heel. The calcaneus, the talus bone, the base of the foot. Very powerful bone. Some athletes, some martial arts people actually have these bones are insured, because they use them for kicking or pressing. We use them for pressing through the air, right? And so we're waking up still this powerful heel bone, which is next to the Achilles tendon, one of the largest tendons in the body, the largest tendon in the body, Achilles. So the arch of the foot has 5 spokes to it, just like the 5 feet fingers, as they're known, feet fingers. This is the thumb, this is the baby finger, ring finger, and so on. The pointer finger and the lazy finger, the ring finger. So they're all kind of mirroring our hand. The toes are for balance, and they're very delicate, so we don't want to put too much power on these tiny little extremity bones here. But the power is coming from the ball of the foot, and the 5 tendons that go out to each toe are lifted in the arch to protect the tendons. Some people have suffered from the plantar fasciitis, the inflammation of the tendons below here, and some good way to work through that is to roll your foot over a tennis ball and keep the tendons strong so they don't get any of that inflammation. However, if you have inflammation in tendons and ligaments, rest and recovery is always the best thing first, and then begin to work through tennis ball work or walking, again, barefoot in sand, barefoot on the earth, so important. So be careful of these tendons that come out at the base of the foot. It looks a little bit like a relief rake. And then across the base of the foot is a transverse tendon, kind of straps it all in. That transverse tendon is what we lift up and create power up the low limb, up into the knee, up into the thigh, and then into the core. So it's all connected. Lifting that arch, pressing the ball of the foot in, the heel of the foot in. Toes are just kind of light. Play piano with the toes when you're doing a posture. Okay? Light and easy. But when we're balancing and we come up or away, or we're doing a standing balance, definitely fan out your toes to make sure that you have balance is attended to. Okay? So for the feet, we have the flexion, and again, this is the ankle. The dorsiflexion of the ankle is bringing up my feet. So this is very good practice. It keeps the knee nice and strong, to keep a nice flexion in the ankle, and very powerful in the feet. Rather than have sloppy, soft feet, I want to engage, extend the Achilles, extend the back of the muscles of the leg, bring in the dorsiflexion of the ankle. Spread the toes. That it just ignites the power, the muscles and tendons and ligaments in the feet. Remember, tendons and ligaments are non-contractile. They stretch like a rubber band until they're overstretched, and the rubber band doesn't go back. So if your feet are always tight, or if any part of the body is tight, we do work to soften the tendon and ligaments in the body. We don't want them to be overly soft, or we turn into the scarecrow or the rag doll. We don't want that either. So the beauty about yoga postures is to keep a balance. So here we have very powerful feet. The power in my foot ignites the power in the leg. If I have a beautiful, soft, wispy foot that's very floaty, I'm going to have less ignition in the leg. So keeping the feet up, keeping the toe buds spread out, keeping the stems. You want to keep the fingers in between, or the ladies that do, or men that do the pedicure and they have those pieces, you know, those are good to keep, because those little foam pieces, the little toe separators, they're actually really good for strengthening. And if you're just sitting around the house, get those separators out and work a little bit to keep the flare of the toe and the power in the foot. Very nice. So we have here extension. When I extend and point, it looks pretty, but when we're doing yoga, we're not dancing necessarily. We're not dancers. So this makes everything look very pretty. This will elongate the muscles in the top of the leg. It will contract the muscles at the back of the leg. And so the calf is contracted and it looks really pretty. That's why ladies put their feet in, I don't know why, but they put their feet in the high heel shoe, because it sculpts the calf and it gives them height, and it looks, the foot looks smaller, not so flat, but not necessarily a good thing for these tiny bones in the feet. And it's especially not good for the buds of toes when they're jammed into pointed shoes, or even an open sandal that has a narrow piece going to the end. Even if the toes are free, everything's all jammed in there. So I'm not an advocate for the high heel shoe. Really never have been. Maybe for a couple of years in my early 20s, but since then I like my feet open and free. I live in a cold climate, and I still, as much as possible, walk around in my flip-flops. And I even have the socks that have the individual warmth around each toe as well. I like to keep them as free as possible. So here we go with extension. Now flexion. And then the other thing that the leg can do, of course, freely, is to rotate one direction or rotate the other. Now that's my ankle. I was going to say my wrist. That's the other, the twin. My ankle can rotate back and forth. They don't laterally turn like the spine turns offline. So 2 or 3 things for the wrist and the feet. Powerful toes, the thumbs, wiggling and moving those toes, keeping them powerful as well. But remember, the toes are balancers, and then what's really powerful is the ball of the foot. Lift the arch off the mat, press the heel in, and that becomes the Padabandha seal of the foot. So take care of all those muscles and bones in your feet, and over 100 tendons, ligaments, straps of all variety. So take good care, keep them supple. Namaste.